Good morning. As we learn the chitas of the day, we start with the chumash of today. We start on chapter 1, verse number 20 in the book of Numbers. Reuben, and there was the sum of the children of Reuben. The God is counting the Jewish people, and God had asked the Jewish people to count themselves. The Jewish people are counting themselves, and they counted tribe by tribe. To the number of the individual names, every male from 20 years and above. The God was counting those who were 20 and above that are ready to go out to the army. In verse 21, those counted to the tribe of Reuven was Shisha v'Abayim Melech, 46,000 and 500. Verse 22, L'bnei Shimon, to the tribe of Shimon, to the descendants according to the families, according to the father's house. His tally was all those that were 20 years and above that went out to the army. The counting to the tribe of Shimon was Tisha v'Chamishim Elef, was 59,300. Verse 24, L'bnei God, to the children of God, to their descendants, to their families, to the father's house, the counting of their names, if those are 20 years and above, whoever goes out to the army. Their counting, the Mate God, to the tribe of God, was 45,000, and 650. Verse 26, to the tribe Yehuda, to the descendants, to their families, to the house, to the family's house. Going to the counting of the names, of 20 years and above. All those that are fit to go out to the army. Verse 27, to the counting of the tribe of Yehuda was Aboyim v'Shivim Elef, was 74,000, and 600. Verse 28, the Bnei Yisachar, to the tribe of Yisachar, to the tribe of Yisachar, to their birth, Mishpachaisa, to their families. Those are going out to the army. Verse 29, the counting to the tribe of Yisachar was above Chamishim Elef, was 54,000, and 400. Bnei Zvulun, to the tribe of Zvulun, to their descendants, to their families, to the father's house, and those that are 20 years and above. Also goes out to the army. Verse 31, the counting of the tribe of Zvulun was Shiva v'Chamishim Elef, was 57,000, and 400. L'bnei Yisrael, to the children of Yisrael. L'bnei Ephraim, to his family of Ephraim, to their offerings, to their father's house, according to the counting for 20 years and above, all those who went out to war. Verse 33, the counting to the tribe of Ephraim was Aboyim Melech, 40,000, and 500. L'nei Menashe, to the children of Menashe, to the counting to the house of the families, according to the counting of the names, for 20 years and above, all those that go out to the army. To the counting of the tribe of Menashe was Shloishim Elef, was 30,000, and 200. Verse 36, to the tribe of Binyamin, to their families, from the counting of from 20 years and above, all those that go out to the army. The counting to the tribe of Binyamin is 35,000, Abames and 400. Verse 38. The tribe of Dan, to the descendants according to their families. To those accounting the names from 20 years and above. All those that go all those that go out to the army. The counting of the tribe of Dan was Shnayim V'Shishim Elam was 62,000. Shavameis is 700. L'bnei Asher to the tribe of Asher the counting of their family. To Mispashemes to the counting of the names. Ben Asher Shalom Elam from 16 from 20 years and above. Those that go out to the army. Mati Asher, the counting of the tribe of Asher was Echav Abayim Elam was 41,000. Amesh Meis and 500. And then Naphtali, the tribe of Naphtali. To their family, Mispashemes, the counting of names as Shalom Amayla, from 20 years and above, all those that go out to the army. Naphtali, the counting to the tribe of Naphtali was Shloisha v'chamisha Elam was 53,000, Babames and 400. Verse 44. And this is the counting, the number that Moshe counted, and the sea Yisrael, and the princes, the 12 princes, each prince to his father's house, to his tribe. And all the entire count of all the Jewish people from 20 years and above, those who were capable of going out to the army, when the sum was Sheish Meis Elef, was 600 Shleish Alafim and 3,000, 603,000, Chamesh Meis, Chamishim and 550. Verse 47. Alavim, the Mata Vaisam spoke to Besecham. And the Levites, the tribe of Levi was not counted in this counting of the Jewish people. Verse 48. Therefore, God gave a separate commandment to Moshe. Verse 49. Only the tribe of Levi shall not count its number, and you shall not reckon their sum among the children of Israel. So that's just why. Why was Levi not counted amongst the tribes? Legions of a king deserves to be counted on its own. It's number one. And they were the legions, they were the Kehanim, the Levites and the Kehanim came from that tribe. Another explanation, the Holy One, blessed he foresaw that the decree was destined to be enacted against those counted from 20 years and upwards. They were all going to die in the desert. So he said, let these not be included, for they are mine, since they did not make a mistake, they did not sin in the golden calf. The only tribe that totally did not sin in the golden calf was the tribe of Levi, and therefore they were not counted, and they were not part of those that died in the desert from 20 years and above. Verse 50. After Hafkedah the Levim, and now you shall appoint the Levim. Al Mishkan Eidos on the tabernacle, Al Kol Kelev on all its vessels. Al Kol Asher, Al Kol Asher, Al Kol Asheloi, and all that belong to the temple. Hema Yisros Mishkan, the Levium will carry the tabernacle. That's called Kelev, and all its vessels. The Heim Yisharsu, and they will serve the Mishkan. Savala Mishkan Yachnu, and they, the Levium, will rest, will encamp around the tabernacle. So Hafked is a concept of appointment. It's called Hafked. Verse 51. So Mishkan, and when the tabernacles was set to travel, Yerido Esa Levi, and the Levium will take it apart. B'chanesa Mishkan, when the tabernacle came to rest, Yakimo Esa Levi, and the Levium will put it together. Ba'azor HaKodev Yumas, and a regular Jew that comes close to the Mishkan will die. That's the death of heaven. So Rashi says, Yeridu, the Targum, uncle and strangers, they shall take it apart. Whenever they were about to set out their journey in the desert, from one station to another, they dismantled the structure and carried it to the place where the cloud would settle. Just encamped there and set it up. When one who approaches to do this service, not approaches. Approaches means that he came and did the service. He wanted to help the Levium to pack up the thing, and that was prohibited for a regular Jew to get involved. Verse 52. And the Jewish people in camp, each man by his camp, and each man by his division. So that's what Rashi says, as a division arranged around the book of Numbers, 3 tribes for each division. So there was 3 tribes to the east, 3 tribes to the west, 3 tribes to the north, and 3 tribes to the south. And that's the way they were camped around the temple, around the Mishkan, as the Torah is going to tell us. And the Levites shall encamp around the Mishkan. The Levites circled around. Their encampment was a total circle around the Mishkan. And there won't be a wrath, but the Jew won't wander. Nights they're walking at night, sleepwalking, and walking into the temple, because the Levium surrounded the Mishkan, and they made sure V'sham Levium Shmeres Mishkan. And the Levium were in charge of the Mishkan to make sure that nobody came into the Mishkan, walked into the Mishkan. So Rashi says that there won't be a wrath. If you acted according to my command, there won't be a wrath. If not, an outsider take part in the service, there would be the wrath. As we find an incident with Kairach, it says, for the wrath has gone forth for God, that suddenly they wanted to get involved in something they shouldn't have been involved. Verse 54. Yasu b'nei Yisrael, and the Jewish people did k'chol asher tziva Hashem, whatever God commanded, as Moshe to Moses, Cain asu, this is what they did. That completes the Chumash of the day. We'll now go to the Tanya of the day. We continue chapter 52 of Tanya. We're holding the third part in Tanya, third part of chapter 52. The Rebbe continues to explain, and he explains the way the Eibishter comes down to the world, and ultimately into a dova gashmi, into a physical concept. The Rebbe wants to say that even though that God came down to the world in general, he came down to the Beis Hamikdash in a higher level. So the Beis Hamikdash is like in the comparison between the head, where the way the neshama comes into the head and then diffuses to the entire body. So too the Beis Hamikdash, so too the Eibishter came into the head of the world is the Beis Hamikdash, the Mishkan. That's, so to say, the head, and from the head, it went out to the entire world. So that's what the Alter Rebbe is going to explain of it. And when this wisdom came down to progress as ascent from world to world, the Shekhinah too came down and clothed itself in each world. So Chachma comes down to the world. There's Esser Sfiras, the 10 manifestations of God, come down into the world, each clothed in a different way. And ultimately, Sfiras HaMalchus, which is the Shekhinah, also came down to the world. And it clothed itself in a certain way. So thus, within the supernal wisdom, which descended to each world, is to be found the Shekhinah of that world. Where is the Shekhinah the most present in this world? This is the shrine of the Holy of Holies, which is contained in each world. So that's another way to say the word Shekhinah is the Holy of Holies. Meaning the Shekhinah resides within the Holy of Holies of each world. This being divine intelligence enclosed in the Torah of each particular world, which the Holy of Holies held within it the Ark and the 10 Commandments, which is symbolic. The Ark is symbolic to the concept of the Torah. Within it was the 10 Commandments and the Torah. There was a Torah there too. So the Ark is symbolic to the Torah, which is actually the Torah is the concept of wisdom. So the Shekhinah is the concept of the wisdom, the way it came down and dwelled in this world as the word Shekhinah itself is, which is the concept of Malchus. Because the Zohar Beitz Chaim is brought on the Zohar and Eitz Chaim, Shechina, that the Shechina. What is the Shechina? She Malchus Tatzilus, which is the Malchus, the first concept of the Shechina, is the Malchus, the attribute of Malchus of the world of Atzilus, being manifested in the life of the vitality and blessing. So that's Kochim of Atzilus. The Holy of Atzilus is Malchus with a Shechina, which is also called Shechina, in the world of Atzilus, which resides within the Chachma of Atzilus. As we know, that Malchus is the vessel that contains all the previous attributes. It has the capability of containing. It's the vessel of all the previous attributes. From Chachma, from the level of Chachma, of wisdom, to the level of Yisoid, foundation. So that's where it rests. So ultimately, that's why Malchus is called Shechina, because it rests. It's like a vessel. It has the capability to shochet, that everything can rest within it. And before it comes into Malchus, each thing is either cannot be found or it cannot be contained. But when they come into Malchus, in that situation, they are contained. Which illuminates wherefore, and since this is a revelation, it's called God's speech, and that's why it's called. Also, it's called Dibur. Malchus is called Dibur, and the breath of his mouth, as it were, for the purpose of speech, is to reveal that which was concealed in thought. So too Malchus. So too, what's the attribute of Malchus in a human being? Is also speech. So, like a person, by example, speech reveals to the hearer, the speaker's concealed and hidden thoughts. So the same applies above. Malchus of Atzilus, the level which is the light of Ein Sof and the previously concealed vitality come manifest, is called God's speech. For it reveals godliness to the world. This level of the Shechina, which is Malchus Tatzilus. So Malchus, the Atzilus, revealed itself to Bria. And then ultimately Malchus, the Bria, reveals itself to the world of Yetzirah. And ultimately Malchus, that the Yetzirah, reveals itself to the world of Asiyah. And ultimately Malchus, of the world of Asiyah, comes in to the actual physical world. Where? In Malchus of this world. What is Malchus of this physical world? The Holy of Holies. So the Holy of Holies is that's why God says, V'asuli migdash, you should make for me a sanctuary, V'shachanti b'seichem, so I dwell within it. Where will I dwell? I will dwell in the Kochim. As the verse says, I dwell in the Holy of Holies. Not only I dwell in the Holy of Holies, I will speak from the Orain, from between the two cherubim. Because that's where God's speech comes out from Malchus of the world of Asiyah, which is the Shechina, the presence of God, which is speech. So clothed within the shine of Holy of Holies, the Bria, it ultimately comes in the world of creation, but Malchus Datzilus comes into the world of creation. Malchus the Bria, and in Malchus the Bria, Nivra Neshama Bria creates the world of the Neshamas of all the souls of Bria. So now the Rebbe, at this point, the Rebbe notes, our Rebbe notes, the Chabad of Bria clothed themselves in the Malchus of Bria, together with Malchus of Atzilus, which is within them. For as stated earlier in this chapter, from this source, it has been created. It was created, the world of Bria. How is the world of creation created? Through Malchus of the world of Atzilus. The souls and angels of the world of Bria are created beings. Unlike the spirits of any particular world, they are not godliness in the world, but are created from the level of Malchus they're in. Thus, the souls of the angels of the world of Bria are created from Malchus of that world. Fascinating Kabbalistic concept. So everything is created from Malchus. So all the souls that are in the world of Bria, souls and angels, all created from Malchus of the world of Bria. And there's another thing that comes from the world of Bria. Because the world of Bria is the world of souls, which is Chachma. And it's more the concept of Chachma in the world of Bria. And from the world of Malchus, the world of Bria, comes the Gemara. The Gemara, the Talmud, comes from the world of Bria. And now, when we learn Gemara from Malchus of Bria, which is enclosed in the Shechina, the Malchus of Atzilus, which really enclosed itself in the Chachma and Bina, and that of the world of Bria, after which latter are enclosed in the Malchus of the world of Bria, derived the Talmud that we possess. So Talmud, the Gemara, comes from the world of Bria, as explained in the Tikkunim. Not difficult. That's Kabbalistic. Because the world of Bria is wisdom. Because in the world of Bria shines forth the Chachma and Bina and Das, the wisdom, understanding, and knowledge of the infinite light. In its powerfully contracted manner, in order that souls and angels, which are finite beings, shall be able to receive the influence from the categories of Chabad. So that's why Gan Eden, the ultimate level of Gan Eden, Tzaddikim, are in the world of Bria. That's the Gan Eden alien, the world of Bria. Because over there, they can receive in the world of Bria the Chachma, the wisdom of God. And therefore the Talmud, not the Mishnah, but the Gemara, comes from there. Because Talmud, Gemara, learning Gemara is wisdom. The Talmud, the Gemara, is the explanation of the law, to define the reason of the halacha, chachma, and the reasoning. So the Talmud is wisdom and understanding and knowledge. That's the greatness of Talmud. It's wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And therefore, by learning Talmud, you're reaching up to the world of Bria. You're connecting to the world of creation. Lachais, Atzman. But the law itself, found in the Mishnah, and these are the emotive attributes of the light of God, namely kindness, severity, and mercy, and so on. So the Mishnah, so that's the Talmud seemingly comes from the Mishnah, but actually the Talmud goes deeper than the Mishnah. So the Mishnah comes from the Mishnah itself, which is the laws, the basic laws, come from the world of Yitzira. As the Alter Rebbe doesn't say, that from the Mishnah, which originates from permission, prohibited permission deriving from kindness, and prohibited from severity, ritual vitality, and inviolability, liability, and blamelessness. Ritual vitality and blamelessness originate from the attribute of kindness, and ritual invalidity and liability originate from the attribute of severity. As brought down the so those are emotions. What is prohibited, what's permitted, those are all emotions. That's our intellect. Those are emotional attributes. While the Talmud is not about the law. You don't learn Talmud to know the law. You learn Talmud to learn knowledge. Nobody learns Talmud to know the law. You want to know the law, go to the Mishnah, go to Halacha, go to the Shulchan Aruch. But you want to know how to learn, you want to know wisdom, that's where you have to go and learn Talmud. Talmud, that's why Talmud comes from the world of Bria. Such a shame, because after that, we're going to go through the next two worlds, Yitzira and Asiya. Beautiful explanation to where the Mishnah comes from, also the pasuk, the verse comes from. Really fascinating, Tanya. But that's completion of Tanya today. So we follow the rules and we complete the Tanya of today. And today is the 28th day as we come closer to the end of the month. Today is the 28th day. With the Tillim of today is from chapter 135 to chapter 139. Chapter 135 to chapter 139, and you have done your Tillim of the day, and you will have done and completed the Chitas of the day. Have a beautiful, wonderful, gorgeous day. As we come closer to the ending of the Tanya in general, the first part of the Tanya, we're holding it closer to the end of 52, and the last chapter is 53. Have a beautiful day.